Welcome to the Success School Podcast with Uyi Abraham. He has been educating people on business and success principles for over 2 decades. He came to America with only $100 in a suitcase of clothes, to now generating 7 figures in various business ventures, including Vonza.com. His days include helping others to start and scale their businesses and creating economic freedom for families all over the world. Now it's your turn to go from where you are to where you're meant to be with your host, Dr. Uyi Abraham.
Hello, welcome to the Success School Podcast with your host, Uyi Abraham, and I have a very, very special guest with me today. You are going to fall in love with her just like I did a couple of years ago. And she's going to be my co-host every now and then because she's just too awesome for me to not share her with you guys on the Success School Podcast. So my guest today is my wife, my boo, the very special Dr. Faith Abraham.
Hello,
welcome,
everyone. Thank you for having me on your wonderful podcast.
Good. So what do you think about the podcast so far?
I'm loving it. I love seeing you in your element. I love seeing you flow out of what's so much within you. And I'm loving it. I think it's great.
Wow, that is so awesome. So today's topic is going to be how to be married to an entrepreneur. How to be married to an entrepreneur. A lot of people do not understand that being married to an entrepreneur is different to being married to an employee. Many times you have an employee or you're married to an employee that works a 9 to 5. You know, their schedule, their pressure, the weight of what they do, you know, is different from when you're married to an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur that is just starting out, or maybe an entrepreneur that is a trailblazer or an innovator. So Dr. Faith, say hello one more time. Tell the people a little bit about you and what you do. Then afterwards, you know, then we're gonna be talking about this together. And you're an entrepreneur, and you also married to an entrepreneur. So you have this double side experience you're gonna be coming from, right? So kind of share a little bit about yourself a little bit. Then we'll now go into our topic for today, how to be married to an entrepreneur.
Yes. So, of course, my name is Dr. Faith Abraham. I am a consultant and a counselor. And so I've been doing that for the past over a decade now, and some years. And as an entrepreneur, I actually am the product of 2 entrepreneurs. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs, so it was kind of inevitable that I would take my own entrepreneurial journey. But that was not without me first trying to climb the corporate ladder, which did not work. And I'm glad it didn't, because now I'm an entrepreneur and I love this entrepreneurial life.
That's awesome.
So that's me. In a nutshell. And I'm married to you for over 15 years now, and we have 3 beautiful children that have helped really enhance this journey.
Great. And you're also my co-founder at Vonza.com.
Yes, I am. And I'm really excited about that venture and what's going to come out of it. And I really look forward to, I think out of everything, being in this industry and just putting Vonza all together, I think one of the biggest things I'm really excited about is to see the various people that we're going to impact and take into a different level of living, and even having them embark on their entrepreneurial journey in a greater, more expansive way, making, you know, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and just seeing how that's going to change other people's lives. Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me out of bed in the morning. Like, I'm excited. Like, yes, I want to be successful, but I want to see other people successful too, because it's just more fun that way, right?
Awesome. So, that is so great. I told you guys she's incredible, you know, and this is just the beginning. So today we're going to be talking about how to be married to an entrepreneur. So I'm going to be asking my wife, Dr. Faith Abraham, those questions, and she's going to tell us and teach us how to be married to an entrepreneur. Then I'm going to kind of interject every now and then. So, Dr. Faith Abraham, welcome again to the Success School podcast. So, we want to be successful. And one of the things about the Success School podcast is that we're not just only talking about business success alone, we're also talking about life success and marriage success.
Yes.
Because,
very important.
because if you're successful in your business, but not successful in your life or in your marriage, you're not a full success, right? So to experience total success, you gotta be successful in your life, successful in your business, and of course successful in your marriage or relationship. Okay, so how to be married to an entrepreneur. So give us the keys or teach us how to be married to an entrepreneur.
Well, the first key I'm going to say is know your role. That's what I labeled it. Know your role. And I know a lot of times when you say role, people go quickly into gender roles, but not necessarily that. In a marriage, every marriage is different. Some men are better cooks than their wives are. Some men are better organizers and cleaners than their wives are, and then vice versa. And so when I say know your role as an entrepreneur, whoever is the entrepreneur, especially starting out, they're going to need that support. They're going to need the time. They're going to need, so, you know, when you have the kids, you have the dogs, you have the parents, or whatever other responsibilities you have, your role is to allow that entrepreneur to be an entrepreneur, you know, take things off of their plate so that they can really do what they're doing very well. So their learning curve will be shorter. Their ability to attend meetings and get the funding and do all that fun stuff, you know, they have a greater level of flexibility, because that's really what is required, especially starting out as an entrepreneur, is that flexibility, right? And so knowing your role is, okay, if I'm an entrepreneur too, don't take advantage of that and just be sliding, you know, flipping through Facebook or Instagram.
Come on.
Take advantage of your partner, your spouse being there for you, and use every minute as effectively and productively as possible. So know your role, play your role, and of course come together and make sure that you're not worn out. You know, you're not getting lost in your role. I think that's really helped us out a lot, because, you know, with the kids, I pretty much took on the kids. Even though I was an entrepreneur as well, I just did what I could without overworking myself and not being, you know, and taking care of the kids and their demands, whereby giving you the ability to travel and to spend late hours in the office, not have to wake up, or if you do wake up super early, you don't have to take care of the kids. I would do that because, you know, I wanted you to have that time to really invest in the business, and then that fruit would come forth later. But just knowing that I would do my part, and trusting that you would be doing your part and not just clowning around, actually building.
Okay, all right. So
we spent a lot of time on that one. Sorry, but I think that's really good, because you're working as a team, right? An effective team.
All right. So know your
role.
So each part of the marriage, everybody have a role to play.
Everybody has a role to play.
All right, that is good. So what's the second tip you can tell somebody in terms of how to be married to an entrepreneur? What's the second key or tip you have?
So mine is, it's more of a mindset, and it flows out of number one. And it's everything benefits the whole. So I may not be flying to California or New York or wherever you are, but I'm not going to look down or despise what I'm doing, because it still goes towards the greater good of us as a team, as a marriage unit, as a family. So having that mindset that this is beneficial, what I'm doing is beneficial, what you're doing is beneficial, and today we're doing the work, but tomorrow we'll be able to enjoy it and reap the harvest and the benefits from it, right? And so that's really a mindset, because if you look at other people, sometimes you'll feel like, well, he's the one having all the fun, he's in the hotel, he's eating breakfast, he's getting to rub shoulders, and I'm over here, you know, with big wigs, and I'm over here rubbing shoulders with the dirty kid playing in the paint.
Wow.
But it all goes together. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big one. So it's a mindset. You really have to cultivate it.
Great. And every role is important. So you might not be the one being on the private jets. You might not be the one in this boardroom CEO meetings. You might not be the one in the spotlight. But whatever role you play is important, especially if the entrepreneur is the husband and the wife is more like the homemaker, the one that takes care of the children, the one that cleans the house and stuff. So don't diminish your role because your role does not have the fanfare or the lights and bells and whistles. You know, your role is important. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So every role is important because sometimes entrepreneurs, their marriages don't always last as long, like, employees, because sometimes the stress is strain. And if you don't understand your role and you don't understand that your part is important in the whole equation, if you're not careful, you start feeling left out or you start feeling like, the other person is taking advantage of you and stuff like that. So your role is important. Whether you're the homemaker, you're the cleaner, you're the one that make the food, the dishes, take the kids to school, whatever role you play is teamwork that makes the dream work, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so that's number 2. That's really awesome. You're doing so great, Dr. Faith. So we're going to have to bring you back, okay?
I will be back.
And so before we go to the third one, I almost forgot, make sure you share, you like, and subscribe to the Success School podcast. Whether you're watching on YouTube or you listen to the audio, formats, make sure that you subscribe and follow this podcast. Is going to really, really help you to become successful or become more successful. So if you're on YouTube, please share this video, like, and subscribe. Okay, so now let's go to point number 3. So what is the third thing that somebody needs to know before they get married to an entrepreneur?
Well, the third thing is your perspective is everything. And I believe that is something not only for marriage, but that's also just in life in general, in business. Everything is all about perspective. If you perceive it as a negative, it is a negative. If you perceive it as a positive, it is a positive. Now, I'm not negating that there are consequences to everything. My point is the way you perceive things is going to determine the solutions you find. The way you think or you'll process something. Also, too, your individual perspective. So for me, I'm the more reserved, conservative investor. My husband is not.
Okay, all right.
Okay. You didn't know I was going to blast you like that, huh?
Okay, you're doing good. Go ahead.
But that positioning for me investing is my perspective. He's more of a risk taker. He's action oriented. He's very go-to kind of person, quick too. That's his perspective. And instead of fighting or going, like cats and dogs with it, it's more so of, I respect your perspective. This is my perspective, and bringing them together that now benefits. Like there's things, because you're on the forefront of the business, you see. And then because I'm in a different position, I see. So my perspective gives me a different visual than what yours does. But when we bring it together, it really helps to solve the problem or bring a solution in a greater way than just paying attention to your perspective only or my perspective only. So perspective is everything. It really, really can change and make the difference between having a solution and not having a solution, and actually being innovative.
Awesome. All right, so you got one more to give to us on how to be married to an entrepreneur.
One more. One more. And that one is just be prepared to sacrifice. Be prepared to sacrifice. Yeah. We are taught since grade school to be employees. So being an entrepreneur, we're taught, we're really indoctrinated into the employee mentality, mindset, way of doing things. So being an entrepreneur, there is a learning curve, especially if you don't come from a home of entrepreneurs. You kind of have to figure out how this thing works in correlation to your home, your marriage. your kids, their demands, and all that good stuff, right? And ultimately, to get to where you're wanting to go, you have to be prepared and be willing to make the sacrifice that is required to hit the goals that you have in front of you. If you can sacrifice, and sacrifice in a good way, not blind sacrificing, but pointed, directed sacrificing, you will get to where you're going, and you will.
Okay, so pretty much when we're talking about be prepared to make a sacrifice,
Yeah.
You're also saying that marriage is a sacrifice by itself.
By itself.
Then entrepreneurship requires sacrifice
An
also.
additional
too.
sacrifice.
So marriage sacrifice, entrepreneurship sacrifice. So there's a lot of sacrifice that both people gotta make.
Absolutely.
And some of the sacrifices like we have made in our homes is that many times, I may not be able to go to every soccer game or basketball practice or dentist appointment for the kids like I would love to do, but you cover for that. There are some things to that. Sometimes too you have a client, that you're dealing with, then I'm on daddy duties, I'm helping the kids with their school, their homework, I'm going to soccer practice or teacher meeting or whatever, So everybody's making a sacrifice for the dream, the entrepreneurial dream in the family to be accomplished, And that's one of the biggest thing I think that I want our listeners to take from this podcast today.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is not as rosy like it looks. There's a lot of sacrifices that come with it, because remember, as an entrepreneur, you don't have a stable paycheck. You don't get a paycheck every Friday. You don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks,
That's right.
So many times, sometimes you don't even know where the money is coming from. You just have a dream and a crazy idea and a crazy faith that somebody somewhere is going to pay for your idea, your dream, or your goals, And sometimes when we first started, money was tough. When we first started our journey in entrepreneurship, money was tough. It wasn't as consistent as it is today, but we stuck in there, made the sacrifices. There was a time we didn't have enough food. Sometimes we had just one car to share. There was a time whereby, it was just hard, but we just stuck at it and we're willing to make the sacrifice. And that's why we become successful today. And that's why we want to teach you and help you to become successful. Okay. I think this is so good, and I would love to have Dr. Faith back. Maybe we'll do part 2 on this same topic on how to be married to an entrepreneur. Okay, so before we go, Dr. Faith, I want to thank you again for coming on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I also hope you had a good time. This is our first podcast together in this format,
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I look forward to being back. You said I'm going to be back, so I'm going to hold you to that word.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely, I do enjoy having you and your knowledge and having our listeners and viewers to partake of your knowledge as well. All right, so thank you so much. So again, this is the Success School podcast. The sponsor of this event is Vonza.com. So go to Vonza.com and learn more about Vonza. Then also don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel on YouTube and also on the podcast channels as well. All right, so this is Dr. Uyi Abraham. Till next time, have a successful day and be a success today.
Thank you for listening to the Success School podcast with Uyi Abraham. This show is sponsored by Vonza.com. Vonza is your all-in-one platform to easily create online courses, offer products, do email marketing, build landing pages, and design a beautiful website. Vonza makes it seamless for you to run a successful online business all in one place, not all over the place. Get started today. Choose a plan or get started for free at Vonza.com. That's Vonza.com.